magical time of the year.
Yes, Carissa's Merry Christmas Eve, everybody.
Merry Christmas Eve. Happy holidays. And we hope that you guys are with friends, with family, with your loved ones. Hopefully not alone on this, this season. But I know a lot of people are probably traveling and
last minute wrapping gifts. Hopefully not running to the store today to get a last minute gift because that sounds stressful. But I just hope you guys aren't all super exhausted like me, because I know that with Christmas being on Wednesday, Christmas Eve being on Tuesday this year, like all of the Christmas events, at least for my family, are happening weekend before. So it might be a little Christmased out if you can be.
I think part of getting older is realizing that sometimes the holiday celebration isn't on the exact day. It ends up being on maybe the same week, but not on the same day. And sometimes sometimes you want it to be on the same day because there's something about it.
There's always and that makes it a little bit tough, because then it's like you almost have to do something, almost like you have to add something extra, because it still feels like obligatory in a way to have something extra special day of.
Yeah, but it's nice when I think families try and make it work and want to accommodate everyone, and so you kind of get to visit both sides of the families. We were just kind of talking about this, how if you're in a serious relationship, or if you're engaged or married, or you're just with someone special this year, you're probably having to make the decision of whose house are you going to go to. Can you make both parties? Can you, I don't know, are you gonna have to make that decision?
This is the first year in my 3+ years with my fiance that we're actually going to be spending Christmas together.
Really?
Yeah, we've done Christmas celebrations, but not day of. And the only time that we even day of saw each other last year, I drove home from Chicago just the day of Christmas, because I'd been up there for a week, so I was ready to be home, and we didn't have Christmas dinner plans, so I was like, I'm just gonna go home midday so I can be home for the next day. And Hayden tried to surprise me by also driving home from Paducah, but I have this location shared, and I was literally like I had put on a Christmas movie. I was mid giving myself a pedicure, painting my toenails, whatever.
Pampering session.
Yeah, I was the full face mask, in a robe, having myself a good old self-care night, cool house to myself. And I was like, I wonder what he's doing. Probably over at his sister's, maybe at his parents, probably watching a Christmas movie. And I see 20 minutes away. I ran upstairs. I was like, let me go put on something halfway cute. I hadn't seen him in a week. We weren't engaged yet, but we were living together, and I was like, let me clean up my stuff so it's not all nail polish everywhere. So he tried to surprise me, but I was waiting at the door.
Yeah. What a sweet surprise.
It was so fun. But so we've never spent morning of though.
Oh my gosh. So this year is the first year you guys actually get to spend together.
Yeah, all of Christmases. And the reason being in the past is because we always took our relationship seriously, so we're always okay, one day it's gonna be the case where we're going to have to pick and choose. So right now, let's just stay with our families, because both of our families have their own traditions, and they're not close, right? Our families live a state apart. Mine's in Chicago and his is in Kentucky, and so it's not really feasible to hit both the same day. We're not that lucky where they're all around.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's this is kind of funny, but my parents divorced. This part's not funny, but my parents divorced. Hang on, I'm backtracking a little bit. My parents divorced during COVID, and my mom is now in Georgia, and my father's in Chicago, which is where we are from. And my dad and his fiance, they're actually getting married the 27th, so right after Christmas.
I feel like you did tell me that, and I had the same reaction of I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's coming up, and I'm really excited for them both.
Have fun.
But they bought a house 5 minutes from my in-laws.
Oh my God, you're so lucky.
And
you're so lucky.
I cannot even explain to you how. That's the hilarious part, guys, is that my dad and his fiance live right next to my in-laws.
Have they become friends?
Yeah, they're friends. Yeah, so
That's
my in-laws
so
will be at the wedding too. All of us will be there.
It.
Yeah, it's really sweet. And so
that's so sweet for Lucia.
Yeah, we're blessed in that way. But it's great because we can actually, going up to visit, it's made it so much easier. And, you know, it's really simple to be like, hey, you guys want to come over for dinner? Or like, hey, I'm going to stop by real quickly. And it's kind of like this dream come true of like having this like little family compound where you like have everyone you need right there, and like
Everyone,
just
literally,
take your little,
everyone is like, screw you, Rachel.
take your go-kart and like go on over to their house.
The
like,
dream,
pop
just
by
like
for
the golf cart neighborhood where
I
nobody
want
ever
that.
needs. Oh, I want that.
that.
I want to be able to get everywhere with a golf cart. You know, Hayden was gonna buy his mom a golf cart, and then we had to look up like the neighborhood regulations, and
They don't allow it?
no,
I didn't know that was a thing to have to look that up.
like in St. Louis, the Hill, that neighborhood,
Mhm.
you can golf cart
Yeah.
on there.
Same
not
with
not
Ben Park
beyond.
and Soulard and stuff.
Right, okay.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, there's like restrictions to the area, so not
That's
everywhere. Yeah.
But we have to, yeah, with my parents now being separated, Luke's parents are still, or my husband's parents are still together. And so I'm like, well, that's kind of a blessing, because I'm like, having to, if we had to split it between 4 separate couples, right?
So
That would be, it would be complicated. So, I mean, you know, holidays are different when your parents divorce. Doesn't make it necessarily good or bad, but it's definitely different. It takes a little coordination. Georgia, or Thanksgiving, we're in Georgia with my mom, and she's really happy that we're there during that time. But then she's also really happy she gets all the traditions with Christmas are gonna be in Chicago. That's where like my extended family is, and that's where Luke's family and extended family are. So it's just.
Are you guys planning on keeping that as your status quo each year? Thanksgiving in Georgia and Christmas time in Chicago?
I think Christmas will always be in Chicago.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, I'm not so sure with baby number 2 coming on the way. My dream would be to have a week where we can all meet up someplace, whether it's like
In
a little
between.
vacation house somewhere, like, hey, let's use this, if everyone's down, this is my dream, okay? My little fantasy is like, why don't we get like a cabin somewhere? Like, why don't we do something somewhere and everyone can come there for Thanksgiving? We can all spend it together. I'm really fortunate that my parents get along well, and it's like cordial and there's no issues. But it's, I don't know, I think that during the holidays you just want everyone to be together.
I also think that's amazing right now, and I know it's just gonna get a little bit more complex when your brother, Luke's sister, he has a sister, right?
He has a brother and sister.
Okay, well, when all your guys' siblings start to get married and have babies too, because it's easy now because you're the only one with in-laws.
Yeah, now everyone's gonna be able to stay at grandma and grandpa's house.
And like it's easy for like your family to be like, oh, we can go to, you know, like Rachel's family, but then in the future when they've got their own, it's just gonna start to get more complicated.
Yeah, it's
Future's tough.
Right now it's working. I know it'll adjust.
enjoy
Well, also
it
like
for
we don't
now.
know. I don't know if our family's gonna stay in Chicago. Like, will people move? Will they
Mhm.
follow one of us if we move? You know, like we don't know. So
It is
so-
tough.
so you just enjoy it while you can,
Literally.
and don't take it for granted.
I know, yeah. I didn't even realize until like I was an adult that my dad's side of the family did Christmas Eve every year as well as Christmas Day, because we always spent Christmas Eve with my mom's side of the family. Growing up, being so lucky that all of my family lived in Chicago, so it was just this house instead of that house, not
Yeah.
a whole big travel away somewhere, which I think most kids, our kids' generation, is just going to be so used to. That's going to be the new norm just because of how much everyone moves
Totally.
away.
Yeah, and also like when you're young, it's so magical. Like there's never any issues except, of course, that morning of argument, which happens I think in every family. I feel like parents are just like, they go through an argument before having to go to the party. Am I wrong for this? Or like,
I don't
maybe
know.
I'm
I'm
not-
expecting your divorced parents on this one.
I feel like holidays never started without a good argument.
The holidays growing up, the
The
holidays.
lettuce being thrown across the kitchen.
Oh, lettuce being thrown like clockwork every year. No, my house growing up as a kid, it would be my brother and my sister are definitely more early birds, so they would be like up and at 'em. They'd have like the rush of adrenaline, like Santa came, let's go.
Yeah.
And my mom, she's a teacher. She was always up at like 5 a.m. anyways, so like normal for her. She's ready to go. Me and my dad are like, I will get up when Dad gets up.
That's
And Dad's
hilarious.
like, I'll get up when Liv gets up. Like, let me know. Like, we were like, any like 5 more minutes, just 5 more minutes, guys. Like as much as we could squeeze out of them. But it would start really early. Like we would be up at 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas morning.
Yeah, I think we had to like wait a little while, but there came a point in time where my mom was like, "Guys, it's Christmas!" Like, and she's coming into my brother and I's room trying
She
to
would
wake
wake
us
you up?
It came like the last.
Oh, my
couple
parents would
Christmases.
never. They were like, please.
Well, this was like the last few Christmases we had all
Aw.
spent together, and I think at that point, Eric, like, we're back from college. My brother and I back from college. Like, we want to sleep in. Like, we know the presents are there. Like, we can take our time.
My brother, 6 years younger than me, 8 years younger than my sister. So when we were like teenagers and like over it, he was still a kid. So it was like, all right, what time are we telling Graham that that we're like ready to go? Like, what time are we telling him he has to wait for? Like, we still had to wake up early because like our little brother was gonna be pumped. So you had to like bring the energy, bring the magic for him. You know?
Totally. Yeah, I know. It's sweet when you still have someone that. Like,
And this
that
is
looks
what's
forward
fun.
for Santa.
This is what's fun for you. You guys, I just realized this the other day. It's Lucia's first Christmas.
Yeah, it's our daughter's first Christmas.
Your first Christmas as a mom.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you could have called yourself a mom like last year, you know, like still being pregnant and whatnot. I'm sure that was a fun Christmas.
but we definitely. Well, now I get to be pregnant again and go through the season again. But now it's like we talk about, oh, what traditions are we going to have, and like how do we want to present gifts? How do we want to present this season? Like, are we going to have some sort of, you know, I think like Christian background? Like, are we going to have
take it the religious way, take it the like
Are we
just
going to have this
social way.
introduced? Are we just going to have it be a gift giving year? And I personally, I don't want.
Someone's at the door.
Someone's at the door.
Quick police. It's just FedEx.
It's FedEx.
They're dropping off gifts. It's literally Christmas here.
Wait, that's so funny. It's not FedEx, it's Santa, guys. I just told him to wait.
Obviously.
But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta pick the tradition, like Elf on the Shelf. There's like
those are funny.
Do you
videos
do
to watch.
the Saint Nick's Day where you like put out your shoes and then they put candy?
No, but in France they do shoes. They don't do stockings.
Oh, okay.
Americans
like
do stockings, so like we'll definitely have
I wonder how that
stockings and
ever
things
started.
like that. But as you get older and now you're introducing like kids this season, it definitely has made me, I think, reflect and go a little more internal on like, okay, how do we want to present this? Someone had once said like, you know, be cautious of what Santa gets your kid, because there's a lot of kids, for instance, like in the school district or whatever, a lot of kids who just don't come from, I think, families that can provide in that sort of way, or who can gift in that sort of way, and that was like something I was like, I never even thought about that.
Right,
you know?
that like if you're getting a brand new iPad or something that's particularly pricey, like that's from mom and dad, not Santa. Like Santa gets you like the teddy bear and like the new
little
drawing pad,
little
like
cute things. That might be a little more general.
You know what's so funny is my parents growing up, and I know my sister, she's got 4 boys and a stepdaughter right now, and I think she totally carries on this tradition because we loved it as a kid that like our Santa didn't wrap presents. We would come down and all of the toys would be out of their boxes, batteries were in them, like ready to go, so we would walk into the big like moment and just get to start playing, and like it was very clear whose area of like the living room was set up for them. Like it was always very clear, and like you'd have like the same spot every year, but so it wasn't like labeled, but then just, you know what, like I know my parents had to put in a lot of effort to like take out those toys and set them up sometimes, but I bet sometimes it was a little bit easier too because they didn't have to wrap it.
Yeah. When was the first time that you realized like Santa might not be real? Dude, like something's fishy.
I would have gone to bat for Santa. Like you could not tell me. My parents one year took our boots. I should have realized that Santa had the same size feet as me, and I'm like 6 years old, but I didn't. It was just magical, right? They took our boots and put it in like the fireplace, and with the soot and like made footprints around. I was convinced.
Yes.
Okay. Through and through. You could not. My dad had to break down and like tell me because like I was getting too old.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, I don't remember how old I was, but it was probably like even 5th grade.
I don't think it was someone that like told me, like, hey, Santa's not. I don't think it was like news broke out that Santa wasn't real. I think there just like came this realization of like reality or like you know, I don't know.
You just think you came to the conclusion yourself?
I don't remember like having this like breaking moment of like, oh, he's not real. But what happened?
I was pissed.
Well, now I'm like, maybe is this like a traumatic chapter in my life that I've just like
blocked
out, and like have
what
no recollection.
happened?
I don't know, because usually when kids find out Santa's not real, like it's intense, you know?
We had to go pick up my brother after my dad dropped the bomb on me, and I just sat in the car all pissed.
He actually like told you.
Like he'd been making jokes like the whole season.
That's so
about it, and I'm like,
wouldn't.
I like keep looking at my
I'd
mom.
let my kid figure it out at school or something.
Why does he saying this stuff? Well, but my dad was like, look, like I'm getting old here. Like somebody's got to kind of break it to her. And so he kind of had to flat out say it because, like I said, I'm a little bit gullible.
Did he do it like right before Christmas?
Maybe right after.
I hope it was after.
I'm sure it was after. My dad's he's not heartless.
My dad has an engineering background, so if you know anything about engineers, they write in all caps. Their penmanship is all caps. Like most of the time. Luke does this.
I didn't know
I think it's a thing.
Okay.
My husband does it, who's got an engineering background, like by degree or whatever. My dad does it. They write in all caps, and
or you just married someone like your dad.
That's to an extent. To an extent, okay?
It's always like that. Just
to an extent. But for some reason, Santa's handwriting on the letter was really, really similar to my dad's. I mean, like, why is it
You picked that up?
Yeah, because come on. I mean, when you're a kid, like, you learn how to forge signature. Like, you see your parents.
As far as I knew, Santa had the same size feet as me, and I never thought twice about it, okay?
Well, that's a little harder to, like, put together. But, like, when you have very specific handwriting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's right.
So then I guess the last time he had my mom write the letter, and I was just like, I know my mom's handwriting. It's not good. And, like, I can tell. Actually, the thing is, I would get shat on for not having good handwriting. People would call my handwriting chicken scratch all the time. And I was like, I'm kind of offended because, like, can you read it? Yeah. Okay, so then what's the problem here?
Like, I grew up, like, I would take so long on my homework because I cared to, like, make the letters look good. I don't know what switch happened, but now I currently have chicken scratch and I can't not if I try.
Never write anymore. It's not that my mom has bad handwriting. She just has, like, the doctor's handwriting where I can't necessarily read it. It's not ugly. It's just it's beautiful, but
so that's what tipped you off to Santa.
My dad's handwriting, yeah.
You know, I read this thing maybe a few years ago, but it always stuck with me because I thought it was like so sweet, and like I hope I tell it back like in a way that makes sense. But essentially, I'd read this whole kind of story about the way that this family handled like Santa Claus, and they took like the boys to a breakfast. Like the dad took the boys to a brunch to kind of like tell them the news, but instead of saying like there's no Santa, he said like, are you ready to become a Santa? And like told them like, you know, every year like it's your responsibility, you have to pick out a person and you have to, without asking them, find something that they need and be able to give them a present, you know, with no like who it's from. Like that's part of being a Santa. Like, and like indoctrinated them in to like now you are Santa instead of there is no Santa. It's like it's a responsibility. Can you handle it? Yeah. Kind of a deal. So like it was like this cute little story, and I'm like,
well, see, that's what I mean. Is like now you're responsible to, I think, teach and to build a foundation of what this season's going. Like, what does it mean? What should it mean? What's it going to mean in your family?
It could have a lot of different meanings.
A lot of people do different things.
The pressure's on.
Was did you have a type of family that everyone would wake up and open their gifts and not wait for anyone? Or like, did you guys all go downstairs together and like open one gift at a time?
Wait at the top of the stairs. They were probably waiting for me because I didn't want to get out of bed. And then we would go down, or like my dad had to get the video camera ready, like the classic. And then because Santa didn't wrap presents, we had our moment, and we would have fun and play in that room with those toys for like an hour. Because we woke up at like 5, so there's plenty of time before church, because I was raised going to church on Christmas.
Yeah, same.
And, you know, while we're playing with toys, my parents are throwing like breakfast in the oven or whatever we're having, probably cinnamon rolls. And
Yeah.
and then once like the dust has settled on the shock of the new toys, we would all go to the Christmas tree was in the other room, separate from the fireplace, and then we would pass out those presents, and we would go around like the circle. Like this
Each
year,
one
will be
at a
the same.
time.
We'll go around, and the circle will be one at a time.
Yeah.
And that will be the same way even to this year that it will happen. I told my dad this year. My dad is such the kid at heart kind of a dad, and he loves like a million presents. I had to tell him this year, I was like, Dad, I think we need to get to a point where like it's cool to just give like one present. Like I don't need to feel the need to go buy him like 20. Like I will wrap every sock individually so that my dad has a high number of presents.
If you can find a lot of gifts for your dad and you know what to wrap, can you like put it in the DMs? Because dads are the most difficult.
One year I bought him 5 of the same hat. No, but he loves them. Like because he really wanted this one hat, and like they were like not sold anymore, so I went on eBay and I bought everyone that I could find.
That's really great. That's a smart idea. I just like struggle with like finding gifts for dad.
So now he wears one hat until it's worn out, and then he gets
That's
another
cute,
hat.
yeah.
So that's why, so
The gift that just keeps on giving.
I bought so he got to open the same hat multiple times. So it was like hilarious because he
That's
was like,
cute.
wonder what this gift's gonna be.
That's cute. Yeah, because it looks like a hat too on
Yeah.
the wrapping. There are some families that they just go down whenever they want. They open all their gifts, and then
Without people being there.
yeah,
You miss half of the fun.
that's what some families do. It's not what my family did.
Oh.
My family did the same thing as you. Like we all waited until everyone was there together.
Yeah.
And then like one by one we like go around and like see what each other got. But I think but there are some people that it's just like they just go down, they open everything, and then that's that.
You know, I'm so like, I don't know, I'm kind of excited, but I'm also curious about how this year's gonna go because, like I said, Hayden's never joined me for Christmas morning at my parents' house, which is going to be happening on Sunday before Christmas. So we've convinced my dad that Sunday is Christmas and Saturday is Christmas Eve, so that it can go down like this.
Oh, it's just gonna be fun.
Because
I
it's
think
not
it's
the case
important.
where you can celebrate like on the day anywhere. It just doesn't always pan out.
I think it's really important that you guys are spending it together. Like I think it's
Yeah.
important that couples spend the holidays together and you make that decision and that call or whatever you want to call it, whether it's a sacrifice or whatever, to like choose what you're
In some
going to
ways.
do. Because there's some people that still like spend it separately.
Well, that's what's tough about the holidays because like how you said, like kind of a sacrifice, but also like kind of an honor because it's like you get invited to their family, but then
Yeah.
you have to like not be with your family. So it's such a double-edged sword,
I know.
and that's what makes the holidays really tough. And this year, Hayden and I had kind of said like, okay, because I spent Thanksgiving with his family last year, and then we spent Christmas separately. So it was like, okay, no, this year you need to spend Christmas with my family, and so then anyway, the way things worked out, we ended up actually not spending Thanksgiving Day nor Christmas Day with my family. Both of the days won't be with my family, and just because of like extended family celebrations and trying to fit in all of those extended family
Yeah.
celebrations, which I'm really excited that we get to go to because I actually have a lot of cousins that Hayden still never even met.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be there, well, for the most part, I expect them to be. And so I'm really looking forward to that. But as a result, we won't be with my family on Christmas Day. And we also weren't with them on Thanksgiving Day. So I'm feeling a little bit like kind of guilty and sad about the way that it panned out. And so we've decided recently that, okay, so next year would be my family on Thanksgiving Day, his family on Christmas Day. Like whatever the extended family celebrations are, we'll make it if we make it, and we won't if we can't. But we're gonna make sure to spend the actual day with like the family rotation that we've kind of established. I don't know how that will change in the future when we have kids one day, but it seems like we've got some time. So
yeah.
But this year was really tough to kind of work that out.
I think it's
honestly.
really difficult too when you come from both families that have really strong traditions and like really go big celebrating.
And he has strong like friends traditions in his hometown too. So that just adds to it as well.
Yeah.
You know what? There's Black Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then there's also like, you know, all the friends like come home for Christmas, and so he still has like that strong group where they try to do something awesome, but an extra something to try to schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna come down to like, okay, but like what's, as you grow your family, then it's like, okay, well then family's gonna have to, it's tough
Yeah,
though, because
but
like
that's
sometimes friends
why-
are like family, but it changes. Like
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't, and it's to be expected, but that's exactly why we've tried so hard to fit it in now and
Yeah.
like hit it now as long as we can, because we know there will come a time when it just doesn't work out. And so, like, even if it's like a little bit exhausting or a little bit extra travel, like if we can make it, we really try to.
Yeah, I think the next big thing too with holidays is like who's hosting. You know,
Yeah.
like the hosting game, we've gotten to a point in our family where it really comes down to my aunt and uncle, because my grandparents are just no longer at the age where they can host. But hosting takes so much effort. Like I never really thought about this. I think this is also part when you get older, you just realize that like hosting becomes, it's a big commitment when you have a big family and you got a lot of different types of family members and a lot of strong opinions and a lot of strong characters, and God bless the ones that host.
God bless.